Good evening.
Good evening.
Chairman Bunch, directors, township staff, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, and to those of you watching online. I am Jeremy Hall, and as Stuart said, I am the media chairperson for the South County 4th of July Parade Committee. We're here tonight to talk about the unauthorized entry into the parade. To be clear, this was not an entry that was permitted to enter the parade. We did not allow this vehicle to enter the parade. This was a group that snuck in with a group that snuck in with a group. And in fact, I have a photo of the exact time that the group snuck in to the parade, provided courtesy of the Montgomery County Republican Party. And actually, Director Nelson, I have a couple of copies for you. I apologize, I only printed out a couple, but pass these around. So this is a photo of the group sneaking into the parade. The group snuck in with a group that was mentioned in the paper, United 45, that registered with, or actually did not register with, but came with the Montgomery County Republican Party, who's provided us these photos in full cooperation in our investigation of the incident. They also provided another photo that went out in their press release showing the members of United 45 posing with the Montgomery County Republican Party after the parade. And in fact, we've identified the two people in the photos that are being passed between the directors that were responsible for the two vehicles we identified as being offensive. I want to clarify a couple things first. No volunteers or committee members were aware that there is a vehicle with profane language in the parade. In fact, I'm only aware of two people that saw this vehicle during the parade. The tens of thousands of other people who became aware of this offensive language became aware due to the post on social media criticizing the parade entry and the fact that vulgar language was allowed in the parade. There were no profanity-laced vehicles in the parade. There was one vehicle with two profane words on one side of the vehicle, and they were removable stickers or magnets. We've seen the vehicle since. Those profane words are not there. There was no confusion with the VFW. I heard Everett Eisen get up and speak in the meeting following the parade. There was some confusion about how the vehicles entered the parade that was quickly debunked within hours of the post on social media by members of the Democratic Party who started a lot of the uproar and the cancel culture 300 comment Facebook post that transpired after this entry was identified. And within hours of the post, they had identified it was not the VFW. So there was no confusion about the VFW and their involvement in the parade. There was a post on the VFW's Facebook page saying that they made us aware of the entry prior to the parade. That's false. None of the committee members nor the volunteers were aware. In fact, the first time we heard about it was later that evening. So let me move on to our response. We identified that there was an issue with one of the vehicles within hours of the parade, and we immediately began to take action. We issued two statements, one 48 hours after the parade and another the following day, addressing the incident and apologizing for anyone who saw the profane language. And I'll read you a part of that. We sincerely apologize for the disrespectful expressions during the parade by an unauthorized group who entered the parade undetected without registration or the consent of the parade committee. We apologize to those in attendance who may have seen or been offended. We, the parade committee, do not permit any form of expression which is disrespectful or hateful towards another person or group. This group and any other group or entries who violate our parade entry rules or will not be permitted to enter future parades. The action we've taken since has been swift, and it's also been very broad. I personally probably spent 50 to 100 hours in the weeks following the parade tracking down exactly what happened, who was responsible, and revising all of our protocols and procedures to make sure that we do everything in our power to prevent this from happening again. The group who is responsible for these vehicles has been banned. They will not be allowed to enter future parades. To be clear, they weren't allowed to enter this parade, but they won't be allowed to enter future parades. The Montgomery County Republican Party was given an ultimatum, again with full cooperation by Chairman Brian Christ, either address this incident internally or face the same consequence. They chose the former option and completely overhauled their procedures for entry into the parade and future events, and the person within the Republican Party who was responsible for the open call for other groups to come with will no longer be in the same position. And we took that as a satisfactory response. We have also had a special meeting since then to address the incident and revise our rules. We've had a meeting with law enforcement to ensure their cooperation in the future, and to address something specifically, hate speech. We heard from law enforcement that hate speech is protected by the First Amendment. So I did a bit of legal research, and that's correct, but that's not the issue. The parade rules prohibit this type of language from being in the parade, and Montgomery County and the township very graciously allows us to use the town center area to conduct the parade, and allows us to set rules for entry into the parade, like no throwing candy during COVID.
I got busted.
A minor infraction. So with those rules in mind, our rules that were already in place for this year prohibited profane language from being in the parade. Our revised rules make it very clear what is and what is not allowed in the parade. Our year-end wrap-up meeting was spent almost exclusively addressing this issue, and so very quickly, here's what we did. We revised the parade rules. The parade rules now include provisions to prevent this type of speech in the future, including that parade entries may not display or broadcast messages which are profane or otherwise offensive during this family-oriented event. Hate speech is not permitted, including any form of expression which is disrespectful or hateful towards another person or group. We also revised our parade entry application. Parade entries are now limited to one group per parade entry. If there's two groups, they can't come together. They both have to submit an entry. There's a limit to the number of vehicles and walkers per entry. Parade entries must provide an exact description of who and what they're bringing, and when they check in on game day, that description has to match the vehicles and people that are checking in. They have to bring their parade entry application stamped approved to check in and submit it to the volunteers. We've also created a new committee position called the Parade Rules Compliance Chairperson. That person is in charge of our revised parade entry check-in procedures and protocols that includes a full 4 sides of each vehicle check before vehicles are allowed into the staging lot. This manual that was written by myself and vetted by the committee provides examples of what's allowed and what is not allowed so that committee members and volunteers are very clear about who's allowed into the parade and what's permitted. There's also 4 checkpoints around the route where if a vehicle is seen on the route that violates the parade, another sneak in, they can be pulled out and with the help of law enforcement exit the parade while on the route. We've also suggested and are currently staffing an ad hoc committee for a complete overhaul of the parade entry application, the rules, and the compliance for future years. So I have copies of all of our current drafts of the documents if any of you would like to see them. And finally, in closing, I would like to thank the members of the committee who worked so hard not only to address this issue, but also on the parade this year and in previous years. And that includes Stuart Schrader, our chairman, Ruby Hall, Kim Lewis, Dr. Shelley Sekula Gibbs, Anna Inklum, Joe Giovanello, Johnny Hennigan, Noemi Gonzalez, and our newest member, Nick Sorensen. Am I missing anyone, Stu? And with that, I'll take any questions that you have.
Thank you, Chairman. I did ask the parade committee to come today and give us a wrap-up, basically, on what steps they've taken going forward, because I know there's no one who was more upset about this than the 2 gentlemen who are standing here before us. They worked tirelessly to make the parade successful and family-friendly, and this was an unexpected assault, really, on the integrity of the committee as well as the entire attendance. We love a parade, right? Isn't that the slogan? Everybody loves a parade. So we want to keep it that way, family-friendly and the best the best event it can possibly be in the state, for the 4th of July. So you've done a great job, and thank you for coming and clarifying the measures you've taken. We appreciate you very, very much. And if I could digress 1 second, I want to congratulate the Halls for their beautiful addition to their family. We have the baby's name is Emery Grace.
Remy
right?
Grace.
Remy, excuse me. I knew I was going to mess that up. I apologize. Remy Grace. And I saw a picture of Remy Grace, and I think she's going to look great at the next 4th of July parade, dressed up in something that Stuart would pick out, I'm sure. So
She will be in attendance. Thank you,
but thank
Dr.
y'all for
Shelley.
coming today, and thank you, Chairman, for allowing us to hear their report.
All right, sounds like you got a thorough plan.
sir.
And anybody have any other questions?
No, I just would also like to echo and say thank you. I know some of the people on that committee have worked tirelessly for a long time, a number of years, and really appreciate your prompt response. We were out of town and heard about it from a resident, and within minutes, then someone said that you all had addressed the issue and apologized to the community, and now have the mechanisms in place to ensure it will not happen again. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Director Steiner.
All right, if there are no other questions or comments, we'll take a motion and a second to accept.
Move to accept?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, thank you, Jeremy and Stuart.
Thank you. We'll see you July 4th, 2022.
I'm bringing my candy.
And it will be on July the 4th this time.
Oh, good.
All right.